the chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So that is good. So now I'm going to start sharing my screen here. And can you close this down? Kitchen. Okay. So let me see how I can just start sharing here. So this will now show up on your screen, what I'm sharing. Yes, this is perfect. Okay. All right. So dear devotees, thank you so much once again for joining the session here today. And so we will start with again chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now, so we did the prayers already. I would like to start this session today by giving my thanks and acknowledgements to, first of all, to Srila Prabhupada, without whose translating this literature into English, I would not have known anything about the Vedic literature. Also to my spiritual master, Vaisheshika Prabhu, who has been so merciful and who always encourages me to read the Shastras scrutinizingly. Also to my Siksha Guru, Shivas Pandit Prabhu, under whom I have learned all these scriptures in details. To Rakesh Rajput Prabhu, my husband, who has always, supported me and bears the brunt of, when I disappear, doing seva for the temple. So thank you to him. And last but not the least, a big thank you to Niral Prabhu and to Khyati Mataji for always being so eager to invite us here to have Krishna Katha. And also to Keshvi for being silent. She's such a sweet soul. She's super excited today about this class. And so mad. So, so today's topic for today's discussion is a rolling stone gathers no moss. And so how many of you are familiar with this statement, a rolling stone gathers no moss? What does that mean? Anybody? Yeah, please. And please say loudly because we are broadcasting here.
So when a stone is rolling, it becomes very smooth and it cannot absorb anything. So that's why.
That's why. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else has any other view? Thank you, Sukomala Devantiji.
If you keep on moving, then like if you keep on working, rather sitting like idle, the bad thought comes in your head. But if you're like engaging activity, then no thought.
So always be active. Okay. Keep on rolling. Okay. All right. Anybody else?
So, like a very famous band, Rolling Stones.
Yes, there is a people's band called Rolling Stones. Yeah. Does it gather any mass? Anybody else? What did you hear? What did you?
Similar thing.
Similar thing, right? Okay. So we'll go into this. So this rolling stone gathers a moss actually is a proverb, right? And it was actually, it first came from a person known as, Publius Syrus, right? And who in his sententiate, he states that, and this is what the statement is. He says that we are always moving and with no roots in one place or another. And we avoid responsibilities and cares. I'm here, I'm there, today here, gone tomorrow, here today, gone tomorrow, right there. So then what happened is that he said that in his sentences. And then later on, this was quite a word full of the statements that he said. Then it got truncated, and then it came to be known as, mossless offshoot. So that was the image that, that a rolling stone, if a stone is rolling, like if a stone is sitting, right, then there is a chance that the moss will build over it. But if the stone keeps on rolling, then, the moss will not come on top of that. So that was, how this came, a rolling stone gathers no moss. And then the modern moral meanings of this, what exactly does it mean? That also diverged. So then what happens as it progressed, first, there was also a song, but Papa was a rolling stone. It's a pretty sad song. First, I was thinking of bringing the song here, but then I thought that, I don't want to make you all sad. But it says that there's a Papa was a rolling stone. So the father is a child who's lamenting and asking the mom the question. The father was not a very irresponsible person and never took anything seriously like that. So that is what it was, right? So anyway, while they're saying Papa was a rolling stone, the person is still saying that my dad didn't take any responsibility. So he's still aligned with the philosopher who said we're always in the moving, we don't have any roots in one place like that, right? And then later on in this modern era, as the Kali Yuga has, is being progressing, so now it means something very different. And the Rolling Stone band that my uncle talked about, right? So the Rolling Stone band actually is talking about freedom. They're talking about, I don't want to have any roots. I don't want to have any, I just want freedom. I'm free. Don't even connect me to my parents. I'm on my own. And you can see that being reflected, in us as the Kali Yuga progresses. So, like I said, Publius, he was a Latin writer. An interesting thing about him was that he was actually from Syria, and he was brought as a slave to Italy there. And then he used to, give these nice sententias. It's a new name that I found. So I said, okay, let's, go dig a little bit deeper, right? So what happens that, what is called, we said that in his sententia, he says it. What exactly is a sententia? The sententia could be, it's an argument. So sometimes lawyers also will put, in the end, as they're presenting the case, they'll put a sententia there, right? So it's a wise, so any statement that's very wise. It could also be a very witty statement. It could also be a very heavy statement, right? So heavy statements, for those of you who attended a class today in the morning for Vaisheshika Prabhu, there's somebody who spoke very heavy statements to somebody else. Who was that who speaks heavily and almost scolds? Somebody we know, very famous. Yeah, there was some scolding. Chapter 4. Narad Muni to Vyasadeva, right? He says, Prabhu, what are you doing translating these Vedas, right? So they can be, so in fact, even in art, and they will, sum up to the preceding material. So whatever they are saying, and in the end, they will say something very, very strong, right? Kutasva kashmalam idam, vishame samupasthitam, right? Anarajistam asvargyam. Akirtikaram Arjuna. When Arjuna is lamenting in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, then Krishna turns around to him and says, where is all this, dirt arising in your mind? This is not like how the Aryans speak. And then the next sentence he says is very, very strong. He says, Klabyam masma gamapartha, na etat tvai upapadyate, shudram hridaya dolbaryam, satya uttishta parantapa. He says, Klabyam masma, he says, give up this impotence. So you can imagine what a strong statement that is. To call a Kshatriya impotent is really nerve-wracking to him. So you will find, in fact, closer home in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first canto, second chapter, which is Divinity and Divine Service, there is, and you can all sing that with me because you all know it. Dharma swanustita pumsan vishvaksena kathasuya notpadayed yadiratim Shrama eva hi kevalam. The occupational activities a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead. So translated in English, it comes across as a very soft, comes across as very soft. But if you look at the Sanskrit, what they're basically saying is that sometimes, people will say, I get in the morning, I keep all the vratas, I go to the temple every time, I'm ringing the bell, I'm doing this, I'm doing arti and all that, but the mind has not yet cleared. Or, I have understood, I can speak for hours on various kinds of scriptures which are there, but I have no faith in the scripture itself, right? So people can do that. And so for them to tell you, Shrama eva hi kevalam, right? There's a very strong statement that all that you're doing is just you did some work with no results at all, just parishram kar diya, sab bekar gaya, right? So we find, like, even in our shastras, the very strong statements are there, and it's full of it. One more strong statement here, and which will kind of, just jolt all of us, is the teachings of Rishabh-dev, right, to his sons. He says, Rishabh uvacha, Vacha Nayam Deho Deha Bhajam Niloke Kashtan Kaman Arhate Vidbhujam Ye Tapo Divyam Putrakaye Satvam Shuddye Dyasman Brahma Shokyam Tvanantam. So Lord Rishabh-dev, he told his sons, how many sons did he have? 100? Who else had 100 sons? Dhritarashtra, right? Yeah. What a contrast. My dear boys, of all the living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, see the word accepted, one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which, here comes a strong statement, which is available even for dogs and hogs that eat stool, even stronger, right? So one should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activity, one's heart is purified. And when one attains this position, he attains eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness and which continues forever. So I'll take a pause over here and take reflections from you from what we read or what you heard here. Mayank, you want to say something? I see you smiling.
No, I was just thinking that first of all, I don't like labor. And then even if you do it, it is useless labor. So definitely you want to avoid
Smart.
being useless.
Yeah,
But
work
it's
smart.
required, Mataji. It's not like we cannot just work. Whatever we are working, that is also required for day-to-day life, right?
Correct, correct. So the essence
So
of that,
it's how it's useless.
yeah, what he's saying is that if you go back to the verse, Dharma Swanishtas, if you say the occupational activity, so your occupational activity right now is you are a software engineer at your company.
But
That's your occupational thing, right? He's saying that whatever occupational activities you're doing, you have to do. That's your dharma, right? But if it does not ultimately lead you to attraction to the Lord, so somehow or the other, whatever activities that you're doing, they have to be connected somehow to Krishna. For example, you can say, well, I have to go to work. Why do I have to go to work? Because I need to earn money. Why do you need earning? Because to put my children in a certain position, I want to donate to the temple, right? Like that. I want to spread Krishna consciousness. I need money for that. So what is happening is you're doing your occupational duty. You're taking care of your kids, or for a man or woman. I'm taking care, earning money to do that. But then in that case, what has happened is it's been connected to Krishna. And when you're constantly thinking about Krishna, it will create attraction for the messages of Krishna. It will do that, right? What they're saying is when people just blindly continue working, they join as a software engineer. At this, for day one, they want to be the VP. That's the aim. That's the goal in life. They do whatever they need to do, left, right, and center, cutthroat competition. No question of Krishna there at all, right? And if you did that, he's saying, if you're doing that, then it is Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam, right? So what Mayank is saying is, I don't like to do Shrama. And in the end, if you realize that I did so much of Shrama and there was no attraction to the Supreme Lord's messages that came, then that is useless. But you have to do Shrama. Actually, Krishna says, right? Karmani vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana na karma phal heturbhur. That fine, all that is fine. But then the last line is the killer. He says, "Na to asangotso karmani." He says that do not get attached to the fact that I won't work, because you're saying, oh, then I don't have to put on the focus on the results of the work. So why should I even work? So he's saying, no, you have to work, right? And so many times he will say in the subsequently in the Bhagavad Gita also that you have to work. And pure devotional service, one of the activities of one of the symptoms of pure devotional service is very active. So if you look at Srila Prabhupada, how active he was, right? At the age of 69 to start this big movement. So that's what it is, right? So yeah, but a good observation there. Yeah.
So this reminds me of the Karma Yoga option, right? Everything is you do with the offering to me.
Yat karoshi yadasnasi.
Then it, we don't take like every movement you just can bring it as an offering to Krishna.
Correct.
And you don't even say, okay, about 42 minutes. The thing that I learn only for for donating, that is one aspect. But each and every moment, if it is important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And this, correct. Yeah, go on.
And it helps me actually. We have so much stress in life, at least in work also, right?
Yes.
The more we get stressed, the more we remember Krishna. Okay, now we are able to help.
Right.
So, but at least then we helps to offer everything. Okay, I'm doing it only for Krishna. Then everything is helpful.
Exactly. And then your statement that when there is more stress, the more we remember Krishna. Kunti Maharani says that, right? Shamlagi. Kunti Maharani says where she says, Vipta sadhu tat satvat, right? That I really like Vipta to come on my head, because then I think about Krishna. Yeah, so that is nice. And actually the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that we read just now. And thank you so much, Mayank, for coming even for a short time. It was a joy to have you there. So yeah, so in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that we read just now, right? What are some of the things that come to your mind when you heard chapter 7? Rasoham sukha kantya. He's saying, I'm the taste of the water, right? So do you think if you are thinking Krishna is the taste of water, that you might be reminded of Krishna during the day? How many glasses of water are you drinking? That's a check. Yeah. So he'll or what Prabhasmi Sasishuryo, right? Balam Balvatam Chaham. So everything nice and good that you see will be an opportunity for you to think about Krishna and glorify. So that will take you to, and even Neeraj Prabhu, like if a person is saying that, okay, I'm working really, really hard because the Bhagavad Gita marathon is coming. I want to really sponsor books, and fine, my manager is grunting and it'll be fine. I'll grin and bear it because I'm doing it for Krishna, right? But the moment you connect things with Krishna, right? So then if what you are saying is actually a much level higher, because when a person is saying I want to do things for Krishna, that rati and that attraction is already there for Krishna, right? We are talking about a lower level of people. I mean, your devotees. So we think in a different way, but there are so many who go there, go to the temple religiously all the time, religiously, morning, evening. घंटा बजा के आना है, बात करनी है, करना. The understanding of the scriptures, the purification inside is not happening. The faith in Krishna is not there.
But that goal, having that goal as a self, to make sure that I earn so that
Right,
moment.
right.
That's a very specific, which is very helpful actually.
Right, it's very helpful, yeah.
Very abstract and
Correct.
hard.
It's a measurable goal. Yeah. So to do that, yeah. More reflections on this one or the next verse?
Yeah, Mataji, I mean, it's very, misunderstanding in general population is very difficult for them to digest. The statement is like, because typically in the social order, especially in where I grew up, it's like, oh, ये बहुत अच्छा बंदा है, परिवार का अपना बहुत अच्छे से ख्याल रख रहा है, बीवी बच्चों का ख्याल रख रहा है, parents का ख्याल रख रहा है, they live a very decent life, और लड़कियां चलती. And now when I say that the Shama we gave them, the everybody is no.
Yes,
Shocked.
yes.
The sheer shock actually, and then it took the people, even those who were in the regular, audience with Bhagavad Gita also, that, oh, this is a complete waste. Otherwise, we worship or not worship, we just wanted to follow some people who led a very decent life in life, right? Never had.
Sajjan the.
Sajjan.
वो सज्जन थे, चले गए.
I don't, Sajjan Bush actually doesn't go together because Sajjan itself means
Yeah.
Sajjan, right?
Yeah.
But in India, that's Sajjan.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yes.
It's very difficult actually to even digest this statement, forget about
Right.
understanding to the normal people.
Right.
So I think it's very powerful as we slowly get into that phase and let people, otherwise this statement is very, very powerful. It should be completely convincing.
Right. And that's what I was saying, that there are strong pithy statements here in our this thing. Hare Krishna. And a very interesting thing is that in the chapter 7 we saw Chaturvida Bhajante Mam Jana Sukriti and Arjuna, right? So it says Chaturvida Bhajante Mam Jana Sukriti and Arjuna Artho Jigyashu Artharthi Gyani Vrata Rishabha. And it's Krishna is saying that 4 types of people come to me: those who are in distress, those who need money, blah blah blah, right? So, but that's not, he says, okay, Krishna is very magnanimous. He says, okay, he came to me, I will give him, right? But it's a very dangerous connection with Krishna, that we are going to, our connection with Krishna is that we go to him when we need something, right? And Prabhupada gives a very nice example that, when there was a world war, and so Germany, people were fighting. And so the German ladies used to go, used to pray because their husbands were at the war, and they would pray to God and say that, go to the temple, pray to God that, bring my husband back alive. And it doesn't happen, right? So if the husbands died, it was like there's no God. So if your connection to God is only limited to this, that I ask God and he gives me things, that the day he doesn't give you things, then the faith is gone. So that's very important for us to keep in mind. That the type of connection that we are making with Krishna there, right? I mean, for me, this was a very powerful statement where I said that, where he said that this kind of enjoyment is even available for the pigs. And which is very true, right? Vaishnav Prabhu always says that the squirrel in his yard always gets a new fur coat. I mean, how much money people spend to buy a fur coat is an expensive thing, right? That the squirrel gets a new one every year. Like Krishna takes care of that. And so very, 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 and with bhujam, I mean, it's 2 liters. So and that's what we do, and that's what majority of the people do, and that's what the point that was raised was that they say वो सज्जन है, you are saying सज्जन है, तो you know the pig भी वही करता है. This guy, you know, has got a harem, and Mrs. Piglet is there, Mrs. Pig is there, and piglets are there. They're lying in the stench in dirty water, and they're enjoying. They're happy there. That's all they do, right? They take care of the kids. They take care of the wife, like that. Right? So that kind of happiness is also there. And the very interesting thing is that we put so much of parishram, so much of effort we do. I mean, you might have all noticed that after COVID came, right? After COVID, the work conditions have worsened, right? And so now when you go back and read the Bhagavatam, when I was reading the Bhagavatam before, like 15 years ago, when I used to read the Bhagavatam, it was like, oh, Kali Yuga, they say, 432,000 years, only 5,000 have passed. So this is something that will happen very far out. Maybe when just Kali Yuga is about to end, then the working conditions will become so bad. But now in 15 years, I'm just seeing, complete degradation. It completely says that, Raksha ki bhakshak ban jayenge. That your company that's supposed to take care of you, the company itself, sucks all the energy out of you. So, and so if anything is going to happen, the interesting thing is, and there's a saying there, कि समय से पहले और किस्मत से ज्यादा आपको मिल ही नहीं सकता, right? So then I can just strive that I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this now. Well, number one, I want a Tesla. There's a desire, you want a Tesla. Now, I want it now. You don't get it now. Why? Because it was not destined, you're not destined to get it now. And you never get it because you were never destined to get it. And if you're destined to get a Tesla, even without you doing anything, you will get a Tesla. Maybe some Uncle Sanjay will die and give a Tesla. Who knows, right? I mean, I keep on getting emails here, your uncle left you a fortune in Africa. Like that, yeah. So I was just talking about that there are some very strong statements that are made in our Shastra. And the purpose of these strong statements is to just shake people out of their trance in which we, every now and then, we sink into those trance-like situations. So a rolling stone gathers no moss, right? So that's what we were talking about. And in that context, we were saying that it was written, there were some strong statements that are there, and this was one of the strong statements, that rolling stone gathers no moss. And so let's talk a little bit about moss. Right? We talked about stones, rolling stone. The other part is, okay, it gathers no moss. What exactly is moss? So those of you who have studied botany in biology, you know what a moss is, right? So it's a type of a plant, and that describes bryophytes. So if my sister is watching this, she'll be very happy. She's a botanist. And so they have been around for a really long time, over 400 million years ago. And I was thinking, oh, they last one Kali Yuga. 400,000, 400 millions ago. But anyway, there are about 12,000 different kinds of moss. Just interesting. And just the magnanimity of Krishna, how intricate and how detailed this and complicated this material world is. Like 1,200 different kinds of moss. What to talk about different kinds of fishes and things like that, right? And you find them everywhere, from damp forests to dry deserts. You will find them everywhere. As you see these trees over here on the right-hand side, these are all covered with moss, right? So the idea was that if a stone is put over here, then the moss is going to form on top of the stone, right? But if the stone keeps on rolling, right, it will not gather any moss on top of it. Right? It'll stay like that. So a very interesting thing I was reading here, that unlike bigger plants, mosses are very simple. They don't have true roots, stems, or leaves like most plants. Instead, they have tiny leaf-like structures called leaflets and thin thread-like structures called rhizoids, which they use to attach themselves to surfaces, and they absorb the water using that. Okay, that's what the mosses do. So again, focusing again on a rolling stone gathers no moss. So let's see whether we agree with that statement or we don't agree with that statement. Okay, so let's take this. We agree. Rolling stone gathers no moss. Okay. So a verse from Bhagavad Gita, which we'll all recite together. Traividyamam soma paputa papa yajnerištva swargatim prarthayante te punyamasadya surindra lokam ashnanti divyanti videva bhogan. Those who study the Vedas and drink the soma juice. Now, soma juice is not alcohol, by the way. Some alcohol thing, bars are known as somkaksh and all that. That's different thing. But this soma juice is actually meant to, help you a little bit in some sort of a devotional service, not true and pure, but seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. So that's Krishna telling in chapter 9 to Krishna. Okay. So those who study the Vedas and drink the soma juice. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planets of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. Okay. So he's saying people do all this and they get elevated to higher planetary system. And let's see what happens in the higher planetary systems. Pitam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam Shire punye martyalokam vishanti Evam trayi dharma manu prapanna Gata gatam kama kama labhante. When they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. Okay? So what is happening here? You worked hard, you did something, you did some yagyas, you put some vratas and all that, and you worshipped some demigods. And Krishna says in chapter 7, okay, you want some pleasures and you're going to demigods, I will make your faith more strong. Okay, go do it, right? And they go there. So it's almost like, that you have got I give you a gift card of $100 and you go check into a hotel and want to stay there, right? So if the hotel is $50 a night, after 2 nights in the hotel, what is the hotel guy going to do to you? Kick you out, right?
Or ask for more.
Yeah, or ask for more money. You don't have. Shine punya. Shine, it has become zero because you exhaust. So one thing to realize is that these kinds of credits that you have, for material prosperity, these kinds of credits get exhausted. You use them, you use them, they're gone, right? And when they're exhausted, you're going to come down. And you come back again, and then guess what? You have gotten used to that luxury. Now you have seen heaven, right? So the concept of heaven, some people want to go to other planets. Maybe they're disgusted with this life, or maybe they like this life and they want more of it. So now they're trying to arrange for the next life, and they'll do all these kinds. They're smart people investing long term. And so they are, okay, I'm going to go to heavenly planet. Now, some people want to go to heavenly planets because in some of the religions, you see, आपको हूर की परियां मिलेंगी, right? अभी यहाँ पे शराब नहीं पियो, वहाँ बहुत शराब मिलेगी, right? So, you don't abstain from alcohol now, but you will get more alcohol there, right? You abstain, you be a celibate here, we'll get you good, celestial damsels over there. So they go for sense pleasures. Some people just want to go to a different planetary system because they miss their parents, they miss their grandparents. So let's go to a planet and we'll all meet together. So they paint a picture of heaven for you, that after you die, when you go to heaven, you're going to meet everybody who had died in your life, and you'll be all together again in a kingdom of eternity like that, right? So that is a very, very focused view, because as it happened in the Chitragupta story, that he's going to come up and he's going to say, which parent, right? Which parent are you going to meet after you die? You had so many parents, right? You had millions of lifetimes, right? Maybe we were a lizard and you want a lizard to come back to you again. I was your mommy. So it doesn't happen. So it's a flawed philosophy, but people do think like that and they do it. So one thing to keep in mind is that, as you said, they're kicked out. Actually, people are kicked out from the heavenly planets. When they died, they're literally kicked from there. And they fall down, and then we know that some man. I was saying that when people are when go to the heavenly planets, when they're Shine Purne, when they exhaust the credits, they are literally kicked down. Yeah. So when they're kicked down, when they fall from there, then they fall as a drop of water, rainwater, and that rainwater will nourish a grain. So the soul will enter into the grain. A man will eat that grain, or an animal will eat the grain, and then through the semen it passes and it takes a birth again. So that's how the cycle happens. So you thought that I'm gathering something, right? I'm gathering. So, and I was rolling from here, I go to the top. I rolled, right? And then I got used to this. I've seen the apsaras, I like them. So that mental impression is still there. I want them again. So what you're going to do when you come back here, you're going to do the same thing again. Try to doing your austerity, trying to do, pious activities that will take you back again to the heavenly planet. So again, you will go back. Again, we'll give you $100 gift card. And again, then you'll go back again, right? So I'm rolling up and down like a Ferris wheel. There's a lot of activity going on like that, right? But where am I? I'm in the same place. So nothing like that, like how you do with kids, right? You give them a bike, they want a bicycle. They have no sense of balance, nothing. So we give them a bicycle that doesn't move, but it has got pedals and they pedal and they're so happy. I'm driving, I'm riding a bicycle. We are like that children, we are just going up and down, up and down. So Narad Muni says that to Vyasdeva in Bhagavatam. Is it? Tasyeva hetu pratiyeta kovido na labhyate yad brahmatam uparyadha talabhyate dukhavat anyataha sukham kalena sarvatra gabhira ramhasa. So he says, now he's saying like people who are actually intelligent. So he's saying, what are you doing in this Ferris wheel? Lower planetary system, upper planetary system, you're doing, right? But those who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined, right? What they're going to do, they should endeavor only for that purposeful end. Don't aim for these heavenly planets because you are going to come down. You'll be kicked out of that, right? Which is not obtainable even by wandering. He's using the word wandering. Wandering is like, useless. When you go from one place to another place, uselessly. That is known as wandering or loitering, right? So you are wandering from from topmost planet Brahmalok down to the lowest planet. You go to Patal, today you are here, today there, right? As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be automatically obtained in due course of time. It's very important because we're all running after happiness. Just as in course of time, we obtain miseries, even though we do not desire them. But that's a very, very important thing to focus that, all the miseries that came in my life, I never asked for them. So if miseries are going to come to me if I buy on their own, the happiness that I deserve is also going to come on my own, right? And also again, look for that since we are souls and we are eternal, we're always looking for eternal relationship, right? A boy and a girl fall in love, what do they say? Hamesha, hamesha ke liye saath rahenge. Saat janam mein shaadi hogi. A wife was a little bit of a naggy wife who nagged the husband. And so she said, and one day in one of those moments, she says, oh, we wish we stay for 7 more. We are together for 7 more lifetimes. And the husband says, yeah, I wish this is the 7th. So people think about this, they think about everlasting happiness, but you won't get everlasting happiness from buying a Tesla, from becoming the president of America. Nothing, because all of that you'll be cheated in the end, because death comes in, cheats us all, and takes everything away from us. So what happens here is that we'll be taking different kinds of gross bodies, right? You will go to Patalo, you'll become some type of body. You'll go to the Swarglo, you'll get some type of body. And we are just thinking, oh, I'm just moving from one type to another body. But not necessarily, depending on the desires that you had. Like oh, want to swim. I want to swim very fast. Okay, you can become a fish in your next life. So it's not, and the human life is very rare. It's a gift that is given. We read that, right, earlier. So can you tell me how many animals are there?
Oh. Five.
2 fishes.
6.
Oh yeah, 5.
यहाँ से जाके यहाँ देखो यहाँ देखो
On the trunk is a shark.
1, 2,
Then snake, yes, so 8 times. Maybe tortoise, turtle or tortoise.
बहुत सारे हैं इसमें तो
9, 10.
fish, shark.
I mean, like, it's difficult just to find all these many. And how many are there actually? 4 million? 800,000 species of life that we can wander up and down, right? So to get a gross body itself is a bad thing, right? And what to talk about becoming a plant? Those were animals. You can also become a plant. You can become an insect. You can become, so it's a dangerous thing, right? And the interesting thing is that, while we are spending so much of time, in doing all the austerities, everything, so that we are able to go up so that we are able to go up to the higher planetary system. Krishna is telling again in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, after he talks about how you go up to the planetary systems and you come down, he's saying, here is the solution. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paripasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogashemam mahamyaham. No, but those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, exclusive, right? No demigod, no this and that, exclusively pointed to Krishna, meditating on my transcendental form, right? To them, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So you have anything lacking, he will automatically give it to you. You don't have to worry about that. Krishna takes care of you, right? So I go through all that, right? Going up, going down, going up, going down, like that, right? So we said a rolling stone gathers no moss. So if you think of moss as, things that we're trying to achieve for ourselves, materialistic things that we are trying to achieve, then if we are just rolling from one planetary system to another planetary system, from one planetary system to another planetary system, from one gross body to another gross body, right? As we are rolling, you're not going to gather any moss. No moss is going to gather, no happiness you're going to get if you equate moss to be the happiness, right? So when it says a rolling stone gathers no moss, in our philosophy, we do agree with that, right? Yes. As we are rolling forward, no gain is there. Shrama eva hi kevalam. All that you did, you never talked about Krishna. So we said we agree to that, right? But so that was the rolling stone. Then the second one is, what about we say that a rolling tongue, right? Instead of a rolling body, we roll from one body to another body. Inside this body, we're saying, okay, we're going to roll our tongue, right? And then again, if you're saying that moss are anarthas are bad things that happen, yeah, and bad habits. A rolling tongue gathers no anartha. If you have a tongue that rolls, then it won't gather any anartha. Right? A rolling body will, also not gather any moss like that. Okay. But the question here is that you have to be aware and prepare. How do you roll your tongue? That's very, very important, right? This vacho vegam, right? Vachogam, the urge to speak. And today, Manasi from the cashier class, she said, gave a very nice presentation, and that word stuck in my mind. She was talking about always speaking nice words and beautiful words. And she said that always speak sweetly, because that'll be a way for happy life. And then I started thinking on that, and I said, yeah, so many times in your life, so many regrets that you have in life is because we spoke too fast, too soon, and in such a bad manner, right? So Vachogam, the urge to speak has to be covered. So it's such an interesting thing that, so what are the situations when you have an urge to speak? Say something that you shouldn't have said. You're excited or agitated. Okay.
Someone hurts your ego, then you like
Someone hurts your ego.
justify yourself or
Right.
trying to.
Right.
Envious.
You're envious of somebody, right? Yeah. Yeah, Vachu Begum. Guru Maharaj gives that example from envy. He talks about that, when people they come together for a what is that called, college reunion, and they meet each other, and there's this guy, Dilip, who was such a backbencher and useless person, and they say, oh, so what's up with Dilip? And like, you are the vice president of Google. And they're like, what happened to with Dilip? Oh, Dilip, he's the Chief Justice of India. Dilip, the Chief Justice of India? I don't believe it. No, yeah, he's the Chief Justice of India. Oh, I don't think they pay him. So this is Vachu Begum. It comes, automatically without even stopping. It just comes like that. So that's something that we need to be. And then, so what we say is that, in Kali Yuga, we have to be watchful of what we speak. We have to be watchful. And there's only one way in Kali Yuga, and to roll our tongue. And what is that? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is Kaler Dosha Nithera Jan Asti hi eko Mahaguna Kirtanad eva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Para. Sorry, but the bracket is there. So he says that although he's talking to Parikshit Maharaj, Sukhdev Goswami, and he says, although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, yes, we are full of faults. What are some of the faults that we have in Kali Yuga?
We are filled with faults.
We are filled with faults, says Komalani Mataji. Yeah, but let's look at some faults.
Thinking that you deserve everything.
Lazy, quarrelsome,
You deserve
misguided.
it. I deserve.
Short life.
Short life is there, right? Yeah. What else is short? Life is short.
Memory.
Memory short. Yeah.
No patience.
Patience is not there. Money is not there. Are we quarrelsome? Is that a shortcoming?
Greed.
Like greed. Yeah. And yeah.
Dust.
Yeah. And greed is that yeah, these days in Kali Yuga, they don't even recognize that as a fault, right? It's the done thing. Everybody's doing that. Everybody's greedy, but it's a fault, right? So the only way that we can, get out of this upariyada is upar, and then ada, come down, and then you go up, and then you come down. So the only way to come out of this is to, roll your tongue in the right manner and get out of it here. And how can we? So here in Kali Yuga, it's Lord and His holy name. They are so powerful, so very powerful. And so this is one verse from Ajamil's story in Srimad Bhagavatam. He also called out, Narayan at the time of his death. At the time of that very interesting question about, the urge to speak. And so Prabhupada uses some very strong words, and he says, like, the foolish frog, he croaks. And how bad the croaking of the frog sounds, right? But he says when the frog is croaking, he thinks he's singing very sweetly, and he keeps on croaking. And guess what? The snake hears that or finds the vibrations and comes and eats him like that, right? And there's another story about Vachu Begum, is that there was a man, he was a sculptor, so he could make true pictures, like true statue, which would look exactly like you, exactly like you. And so in his Janapatri, it was said that, he'll die at 65. Or so when he started approaching 65, he was like, oh, I'm going to die. So he consulted with his friend, like, what should I do? The Yamdutas are going to come and they're going to take me away. So they said, you know what, let's fool the Yamdutas. You are so good at sculpting. Why don't you make 10 of yourself, and then put them there. The Yamdutas will come. They'll be confused what to do. They go away. So he did that. And then, of course, the Yamdutas came and they looked at it. They were very confused. And then they came back. Then every time, he would see the Yamdutas coming, he would just quickly go and stand in the middle of all those 10 statues, and he was hidden. So then the Yamdutas were very confused, like, what do we do? One of them is the real one, but who do we touch? Because they were thinking all of them are men, right? So alive and natural. So they go back to Yamraj. Of course, Yamraj is full of wisdom. So Yamraj whispers something in the ear, and then you go there. So then the Yamdutas go, and this man again goes and stands in between the statues. And so the Yamdutas are standing, and they're saying, looking at the statues, and they're saying, wow, his sculpture is so fantastic. I mean, he has made all these exactly like himself, But there is one fault. And the sculpture said, where is it?
Yeah.
So, that's the urge to speak. And somebody said, we want to be recognized, and that's why we are not being recognized, so we will speak. So the urge to speak is there, right? But if the urge has got to be speak, that urge has to be converted into speaking Krishna Katha, right? Then we will be saved. So here, how can we take the names of the Lord? The Lord is so merciful. The story of Ajamila, he said, he just shouted the name Narayan. That's it, right? And he was saved. So here, they further explain there, Sanketyam parihasyam va, stobam helanam eva va, vaikuntanam grahanam asheshaga haram vidhu. So, one who chants the holy name of the Lord is immediately freed from the reactions of unlimited sins. Right? Asheshaga haram vidur. Aga means sinful reactions, and ashesha means nothing remains. All your sinful reactions will get completely wiped out. Why? How? Even if he chants indirectly to indicate something else. That which means, Mummy aaj kya khane mein bana hai? Mummy boli, Rajma bana hai. So if you remove, Rajma, Rama is inside. To that extent, the holy name is merciful, and you'll be considered that you took the name of the Lord. Right? This is very interesting story of, there was a Muslim, and he had gone to the forest to hunt. And so while he was in the forest, a wild boar comes, A wild boar is a wild pig, and Muslims don't touch the pig at all. So, and so if you do anything, they use the word haram, right? So which is impious and and dirty and sullen. So when this pig comes and then he gores that man, with his horn. And so he says, hey, haram, haram ho gaya, haram ho gaya, haram ho gaya. So he took it as haram, hey Ram. And the Muslim was liberated. Yet he didn't go back to Golok Vrindavan, but he was liberated. So he saw the Jyoti of Krishna like that. So the name is Sanketyam. So he's saying Sanketyam, even if you are indirectly, pointing out to something, but if Krishna's name is inside him, right? So then it is considered that you were chanting. But although that should not be the way we chant, we should chant properly. Jokingly, you make some jokes on somebody and say, hey, you Hare Krishna, tu Hare Krishna, kya ho gaya, tu Hare Krishna karti rehti hai, like that, So what did the other person do? He chanted Hare Krishna so many times. Right? So then for musical entertainment, Madhuban mein Radhika naache re. Who sang that, right? But will get the credits for having chanted that. They will get the credits for that, right? Or even neglectfully. तुम हरे कृष्णा, you have no job to do, you don't do the work, खड़े हो जाते हो हरि नाम में पैसे मांगते हो, like that. Neglectfully कर दिया, या इसने नारायण नारायण आ जाओ, यमदूत आके ले जा रहे मुझे, like that. Tonight coming, yamdut are coming after me, right? This is accepted by all learned scholars and all the scripture. They all say this is accepted, right? So what to think about us who are chanting with a lot of focus and a lot of attention, right? And reverence. So, which is, actually, it is my duty. It is the duty of my duty is to chant the names of the Lord, to chant the glories of Krishna. It is my duty, right? Because when Parishit Maharaj was about to die, what was the question he asked?
What is the duty of the dying man?
What's the duty of the dying man? Right? And what was the answer? What should the duty of a dying man do? And what was the duty of a living man? Right? Ante Narayan Smriti was the duty of the dying man. Right? At the end, you should listen, hear Krishna. And then what was the duty of the living man? Shrotavya Kirtitavyasya. You should listen to Krishna Katha. You should also be doing Kirti. You should be speaking the names of the Lord. But it's my duty to do that. So Sukadeva Goswami has told that, right? So this mantra, as you all know, is made up of two words, man and tra. Man is the mind, and tra means that it delivers it, right? So where does it deliver? What does the pizza guy deliver? Pizza. Okay, from where does he deliver the pizza? From the restaurant. Okay, to where? From and to. From the restaurant to
the person
to your home, right? Yeah. Similarly, what does the mantra do? It will take your mind and it will deliver it somewhere. Where will it deliver it, right? Typically, what happens is that when you are not a bhakta, manorathena sthit dhavato bahi, right? So what the mind does, it's like a chariot. It'll put the soul in the chariot and it'll take you outside. This thing is good. That cinema is good. That cruise is very good. That lady is very beautiful. That dance is fantastic. That's what it does, right? And if you're not cautious, it'll take you on a very wild ride, throughout your life without you even knowing it, right? And then in the end, you will say Narayan, Narayan. So what the mantra, what these mantras, their transcendental sounds, what they will do, they will deliver your mind from this lower level where it is engaged in material activities and material propensities. It will deliver it to a higher level, which is the transcendental level. So that's where it's going to take you. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nameva Kevalam, Kalau, Nastyeva, 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 Gathir. I'll stop here. It's 7:30. We're late for some of you. And take a few reflections before we call. And thank you, Garima Mataji, for joining us on Zoom here. So when you do these mantras, yeah.
I think one thing which I found very interesting that in my childhood, when we used to read the story of great Indian leaders.
हमारे पूर्वज.
Leaders,
Okay.
So Gandhi, Nehru, when I used to study the biography, in the end they said they go Swarg Siddharge. They went to Swarg, right? So in my head, it was like Swarg is the ultimate thing.
Ultimate, yeah.
In all the literatures, everything which we are having,
Right.
It's like,
Right.
if we want to have this one, Man, my life
Yes.
has been lost
Yes,
completely.
correct,
It's
right.
such a
Eye-opener.
Eye-opener, yes.
in everywhere.
Right.
But this that means that's the
Right.
ultimate thing, right?
Right,
Now, with you have explained this.
right.
Better to stay here than in work.
Yeah, better to stay here. Exactly. Actually, Vasudeva Parasarve na kutaschina bhivyati swarg apavarg narkechu api tulyartha darshana. So when you are Vasudeva Prana, when you are surrendered to Krishna, as you're saying, I don't care whether it is Nark or Swarg. All that I want is I want to be able to serve you. That's why Vritasuri says, Aham Hare Tav Paday Kamula Dasanu Daso Hari Tasmi Bhuya Manasmareta Shupatir Gunam Se Grihita Va Karma Karoti Kaya. So he says that he's dying, and as he's dying, he's making this prayer, he's making this wish that all that I want when I die is to get the association of devotees. And what are those devotees doing? They are using their mind, body, and their soul to just glorify the Lord. That's all that I want. And this is what Prabhupada actually did, and that's why always in my acknowledgements, I always acknowledge Prabhupada, that if Prabhupada was not here, I don't know where I would have been today, Saturday, probably dead from overconsumption. So you're very right, yeah.
Nirmata is also what I heard is that in Swarg, you cannot chant. You cannot do the Hare Krishna mantra if you go to Swarg. Your consciousness is
Yes,
there
it's
to
enjoy-
only enjoy,
Yeah.
that's it. Nothing beyond than that. You cannot do that, okay, I'll go to Swarg and I can chant. That was another one of
Exactly. And as Shyamlangi Mataji was saying, so if you look at Swarg, and you look at the story from Mahabharata, right? When Arjuna goes to Swarglok, there's Urvashi there. And so there are no rules and regulations there actually. So whatever Urvashi was doing was okay from that point, right? So she finds a handsome man, she wants to, mate with him. And it is almost like, the rules are different. For example, if you're driving on a road, right? If you're driving a car on a road, if there's a red light, and if you jump the red light, what's going to happen? The cops are going to catch you, right? But if you're on the same road, but you are flying in a helicopter, and if you jump the red light, there's no rule. So it's similarly the same thing. Like, lower planets have different rules, higher planets have other rules. And if the rules are lenient, it doesn't mean that that's a good thing. You see, if the rule doesn't mean that those, whatever your desires were these heavenly planet systems have been created just for you to consume and to fulfill your desires in whatever way, shape, or form. Better than Urvashi was Arjuna, who was in the Martya Loka, right? In this planet, he was saying, no, you're like my mom, like that. That's what happens. Every time Indra is there, managing all this, and head gets corrupted. Every time somebody is trying to become a devotee, he thinks now he wants to become an Indra. Now he's going to go, so he'll send Menka, all the apsaras he'll send like that. Yeah, nice point.
But when, as you, I'm just trying, but when, if they are in Swarg, then you don't, the karma still will go ahead, or karma doesn't go there.
Do your karmic reactions go? See, so what happens is that you imagine that there is a big funnel like this, right? And all the karmic reactions that you do, they're good and bad, right? So let's say good karma is white and black karma is red, okay? So they are mixed and they are thrown into the funnel, okay? Now from the funnel, there is the stem of the funnel. So you open the stem at the bottom, the sum of these balls are going to come down. Some white, some red, maybe more red, white, whatever it is. There's an algorithm that Yamraj has to take care of that. But you get a body to exhaust these karmas, right? Which is known as prarabdha karma. So that's why this body is known as prarabdha kaya. It will be built in a certain way so that you will suffer. Your red balls and the white balls, you will enjoy it also. The problem, and then so that's why sometimes you will say, oh, this person is so good, but then why do bad things happen to him or her? Because the red ball is acting, right? So when you go there to the Swarglokas, you have got your white balls and they are giving you all this, like a bag full of white balls, go enjoy it. Kira Punya Marte Lokam Vishanti. You just come down. Yeah, but remember, this big funnel is still there, right? So you'll again take another birth. And the problem with this is that when you come and take a birth, you will add more balls to the big one from the top of the funnel, sometimes more red and more white, right? I mean, if you look at some of the very famous industrialists, you see, and the rich, that they have done something definitely in their previous life, maybe pious activity they have done. But then look at their lives, how, what a lecherous and a treacherous life they're living now. So they're just adding red balls to that fun, right? So you don't know.
Bank account.
Bank account and
You have to
bank-
finish it.
yes, yeah.
Attachment with you.
Well, yeah, exactly. And sometimes we will give you certain thing. Krishna gives you. You want something and you go to a demigod because demigods will give you this thing very quickly, and demigods can only give you material benefits majorly, and you go and ask for them. And Krishna says, okay, take it. And I remember there was a neighbor, his child was he was 7 or 8, and he would say, I won't drink plain water. You put some sugar in it. And every time he wanted water, he would be like, no, you put some sugar in it, then only I'll drink it. So one day the father said, okay, come sit here, child. 1 glass. He said, okay, want some more? Yes. 2 glass, 3 glass. After 10 glasses, the boy threw up. After that, he never had sugar. So that's Krishna's philosophy also. So you want this? Okay, you want this? I'll give you. Want this? Try to be happy. And ultimately, we understand that there is no happiness. Shruti Sukham. It's just you hear about happiness, right? Like that. Yeah, so karmic reaction. So then the question is that what do I do now that I have opened my eyes? Om Agyanati Manandasya Chakshurun Militam. My spiritual master has opened my eyes, and now I am like in a soup. I don't even know how big my funnel is. I don't even know how many red balls are there, how many white balls are there, right? I can see there are red because I'm suffering, right? Good name, that's mother. So then in the Brahma Samhita comes and says that, yes, the Indra Gopam Bhatavendra Hosakana, right? From the insect known as Indra Gopa all the way up to Indra, who is the king of the heavenly planets, right? All of them have got karmic reactions. All of them will get karmic reactions, right? Karmani nirdhati kinkicha bhakti bhajam, right? But all this karmic, this funnel of your red and the white balls, which are there, are karmic reactions, they will get burnt by doing devotional service. Now, something very important to learn about burning, right? And that is if somebody, writes something to you, right? It used to happen in our time that the boys, nowadays it's very different. The boys will write love letters to the girls and they will give it to the girl, and the mother has told the girl not to read those letters, but the girl reads it, right? 6 times, 7 times, right? And then is scared. So she will tear it and throw it in the dustbin. And guess what? Who's checking the dustbin? The father is checking the dustbin, right? Because if you just tear things, they don't go away. But if you burn them, they are gone. If he had burned the letter, the dad would not know somebody wrote a letter and she read it, right? So similarly, with the karmic reactions also, they get burnt. Karmani nirdhati. Dahana means to be burnt. So devotional service is the only way that this backlog will get clear. That's the only way. And that's Krishna is saying, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paripasate tesham natyavitaham yogashema vahamyaham. He said, I will give you whatever you want, first come to me. See, Krishna brought me something very nice. I didn't even ask for it, honestly. Thank you very much from Keshvi. Wow, look at that. Yeah. All right. Any other questions here? Yeah, go ahead, Parag.
So, Mataji, like somebody who is chanting with very much focus,
Mhm.
and someone who's not very trained and not chanting, but still not very focused, it's like distracted chanting. So will the credits be same?
Credits will not be same because they are different, right? They're different, but Krishna will notice that you are chanting, right? And what happens is the solution to bad chanting, if I can call the other chanting as bad chanting, the solution to bad chanting is more chanting. So it doesn't mean that if somebody realizes that I'm not chanting very nicely, that they should stop chanting. They should continue to chant because the holy name is so powerful. That Sanketyam Parihasyam, right? I said, even if you indirectly chant it, even if you derisively use the names a lot, every time that you do it, it will have its effect. And the good thing about the effect is that it is not like that cyclical Shine Punne that you used it, gets exhausted like the planetary system. Here, anytime you do anything, even if you do this much of progress in devotional service, it gets added to your eternal bank account. Eternal, it stays there eternal. So that if we die and we take another birth, it starts from that level. Devotional service starts from that level. Material life doesn't start from that level. We can't, after we die, even if we come back to the same home, I can't start outside the home and I say, this is my home because I paid for it in my previous life. You cannot say that. Somebody else took it. Maybe your kids. and they won't give you, even if you tell them like that. Yeah. So that's why bhakti is good, and whatever bhakti we're doing, that's good. And Krishna has got this very nice thing about that. Whenever he sees something, even this much of good, somebody said, and there's this much of bad around it, he will just pick up that good thing. For example, Putana, right? Putana was elevated and she became a Dhatri in Golok. And so what had Putana come? She had come with deadly poison to kill Krishna and tried to feed her, right? Feed him. And Krishna says, oh, she tried to feed me. She's like my mother. So Krishna is that. So always the good bet is that even if you're chanting badly, please don't chant. Stop chanting. Continue to chant. How are you? Any other questions? Yeah. You happy? Good, good, good. Any questions? I'm so happy you're here. Nothing. Okay, your son is gone. Should we call it a day on this one?
Wish Mataji happy birthday.
Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna to you, Hare Krishna, dear Shraddha-devi. Hare Krishna to you.
Thank you so much. I had no idea that all this scheming and planning was happening behind my scenes, and it started 2 months ago. I didn't even realize that. 2 months ago, when Khyati Mataji said, "Will you be able to come on the third week in January?" I was like, "Yeah, by third week of January, my yatra will be mostly done, and some things will be remaining. Yeah, I can do it. I'll do it." I didn't realize that from there. And then, when I came here a little early because I had to catch up on this, and then I saw Nitai Kirtan Bihari Prabhu, like, what's happening? And then Nilachal, and said, okay, something fishy is going on there. Thank you so much for that, your love. And I'm just so very happy. There's a question? Okay, go ahead. Why do we call?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Instead of happy birthday.
Instead of happy birthday? Yeah, because if we think about Krishna, right, then we go to better planets, right? And then we will have a very nice life and we have very nice things and we will pray to Krishna like that. Right? And when they're saying,
Now some most of the kids said that they sing happy birthday.
they sing happy birthday. We can sing
We can
happy
also sing
birthday.
happy
We can
birthday
also
again.
sing happy
Let's
birthday.
sing now.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy
Birthday, dear Mataji.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you.
May Radha Rani bless you. May Radha Rani bless you. May Radha
Nani.
Are you happy now?
And there is like Hare Krishna to you. Same thing.
Keeps asking why don't we say happy birthday to us?
Yeah, because now his birthday celebration is complete. All right, then let's go and do the next important thing. We have to ask her, Khyati Mataji.
Was this?
Okay, correct. Nice.
उसको यहाँ पे शायद लेना भी
So
होगा।
anyone would like to say anything about our birthday, please feel free.
So she wants
To say something.
to this offering लेना होगा ना mother will you let me see
And one more holiday. One more holiday is coming.
One holiday is coming? Yes, and when is that? Martha Little King Jr.'s his birthday? Yeah. Look at that. Should we say happy birthday to him also? Okay. Happy birthday to you. Very nice. You want to sing? We can sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Martin. Happy birthday to you. Nice.
That's My house is coming from up here to.
Very nice. In which grade are you now? Okay, for those of you who have joined us here on Facebook and Zoom, I'll take your leave now. Vanchakal Patrupyascha. Patitanam
And Koti Vaishnav Indri Jai. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
गरिमा क्या हो गया यहाँ पे? गाल में क्या हो गया?
अरे वो है ना माताजी, वो पिगमेंटेशन
अच्छा, सुनाई नहीं दे रहा, मेरा स्पीकर बंद है, मुझको टेक्स्ट करके बताना. हाँ.
पिगमेंटेशन